Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare with your children being raised by someone else? With our free information, you can lead a less stressful life, work from home, and start earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom41.com. Freedom41.com. And start earning great money as soon as next week.
Jeff Schroeder, who, wait a second, did you put a ring on it, Jeff? I'm not sure. Is that, I know you're asked that all the time.
Do you keep up with Big Brother?
Yes.
Apparently I have a date set now. I don't know how that slipped out.
Yeah.
No ring on it yet.
Do you know what it is? It's Julie Chen. She is such a gossip. I'm going to get in trouble now. No, I'm kidding. But Jeff from Big Brother and CBS.com. Now, he's been chatting with the Evicted House guests all season. Jeff, I have to ask, while you're watching this season, what are your thoughts about the gameplay? Everybody is still buzzing about Dan's funeral and how he survived. What do you think?
I think it's definitely up there with the biggest moves in Big Brother history. You know, I'm not a fan from season one, but I know about the big moves, and this has got to be one of the biggest, of course. I mean, to get yourself off the block and out of trouble when you're dead to rights and make friends with your biggest enemy in the house, I mean, there's something to be said about that. That's hats off.
So I guess now there's a lot of time to sort of sit and do nothing. Now, it seems like he came up with that idea when he was locked by himself. I guess it was 24 hours, right?
Yeah, he was, I guess, in seclusion in there, so he had a lot of time to think about what he was going to do next. So maybe that helped him in a way. You know what I think was great about Dan's move in particular is the timing of it. I mean, everybody in the house, the timing was perfect. It was Frank needed to latch onto somebody strong, and that was Dan. So it was great to go there. I mean, everything that happened and the way he did it, it was just his idea, first of all, was, you know, the greatest part of it all. But then the timing with everyone else in the house, it was like Jen's time to step up and use that veto and make something big happen. It's like, it seemed like it was just meant to be. Everything fell right into place and made the move genius, you know?
Now, you mentioned Jen, and a lot of people are saying that she's kind of flown under the radar. I mean, a lot of people do that most of the season and then sort of make a big move, and now it seems like she's got a lot more confidence now that she played a role in something like that. Is it smart to stay low profile most of the way, and then when it comes towards the end, like what? Obviously, you've had different strategies, you know, being on the show. What usually works for people in your eyes?
To be honest with you, I would love to be one of those people that could just lay low and kind of be stress-free throughout the season. I'm sure it's stressful on everybody, but to be the person, like, I was kind of always a target in the house, and it felt like people were always coming after me. I always had to defend myself. That's stressful. I'm sure it's stressful the other way, but to lay low is a great option. Let other people, you know, the people go back and forth at each other, go to war, and you just sit in between and enjoy your summer. I would love to have a summer like that, you know, and then at the end you got to prove something. So I think this was Jen's moment to prove something, because you're never going to get jury votes if you do nothing all summer. So people have to step up. Granted, there's less people in the house, less competition for you to step up, but you know, I think you do have to do something. And Jen, she's trying to do her best at the end while she's still around. So if she did make it to that final two, she could get some votes. Okay,
so I've asked you about the best move of the season. Dumbest move? Anything stick out in your mind?
You know what? I was a big fan of Ian. You know, I was kind of pulling for him the whole way, but you know, sometimes when you're in a house, you don't get the credit that you think you deserve. There's people on the outside giving you credit, and he was getting his credit. I think, you know, he had a good shot at getting America's favor, but he really wanted the house to know and everybody to know that he's the one that got Boogie out, you know, and he wanted all the credit for that. And I think if I were him, I would have, you know, definitely said something in the diary room about it and let America know, but in the house, I might have kept that a little quiet. It hasn't come back to bite him yet, but it kind of changed my perspective of him a little bit. And since that moment, he's kind of been walking around with a little swagger. Obviously, he's got that hop in his step regardless, but he's got a little bit of swagger in that hop now.
Right, so you use the phrase, change your perspective. Essentially, that's the same way I feel, is that you don't like him, is what you're saying, right?
In a nice way. I still like him, but I mean, he wasn't the little cutie that I thought he was.
Right.
Up until that point.
No, I'm the exact same. I actually was just going to say, I liked him at the very beginning. I thought he was sort of, you know, kind of like the quiet, geeky, lovable nerd, and now he's coming out of his shell and being vocal, and it's kind of turning me off of him, really.
Yeah, it is, and like saying that, you know, he's the evil one. I mean, he made a good move, and again, it comes down to timing. All he did was suggest to get Boogie out, and Boogie wins. I don't know how much, you know, masterminding went into getting him out. I mean, it was, again, timing, but I don't know if most evil person ever played. That's kind of what he's switching to be.
Right.
I always cheer for the good guys, you know? I'm a good guy, and I wanted him to be a good guy. So when he tried to pull some sneaky moves and be the bad guy, it just kind of turned me off.
Something that a lot of people do early on in the season is tell a lie or sort of make up a backstory about them. So, I'm sorry, we've got to get back to the music. All right, we're going to talk more with Jeff. Jeff, you can stick around for a few more minutes, right?
Yeah, I love that question, by the way. We'll get right to it when we get back.
Look at this. Jeff is co-hosting the show with me. More with Jeff Schroeder right after this.
Today's best music with Jeremy Bradley.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare with your children being raised by someone else? With our free information, you can lead a less stressful life, work from home, and start earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom41.com. Freedom41.com. And start earning great money as soon as next week.
Jeff Schroeder from CBS.com and Big Brother joining us now. We've had a lot of questions sent in from listeners. We'll get to those in just a second. But Jeff, I know in the last segment I started asking you about people coming in. They make up a backstory about themselves. They don't want to tell that they've got a PhD or whatever it is. Is that even feasible to keep it up? Like, because you're, again, like you were just saying in the last segment, you're there for a long time with these people. Lies will eventually come out. Does that hurt you then once you're outed as telling a lie like that?
I think it's the stupidest move, personally, to lie about whatever your profession is or your age or whatever else you're going to lie about on day one. You might think you're going in with a strategy. I don't know. Let's just take Danielle's, for example, that she said she's a nurse and she said she was a kindergarten teacher. I personally don't know the difference. And to me, what other people are in the house, if you're a PhD, if you're a firefighter, if you're anything, it doesn't matter what you are outside that Big Brother house. It's what you are socially with those people that are surrounding you and their particular characteristics. It's how you handle yourself at that moment. So when you do on the outside and you lie about it, it just makes you less of a person because you have less to talk about. You know, you can't really connect with someone if they're lying about what they do. Mm-hmm. And it really comes through in that connection and into, you know, just connecting with someone as a person. So I think if you're going with a lie, you're never going to be able to keep it up, and all it's going to do is hurt you later on down the road. At least me, because I'd be like, why did she lie about that? What else is she lying about? And I just put, for me, it put a target on you. But that's just me. Again, I'm not the winner, but
right.
It's my perspective.
Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned, lots of questions sent in from listeners. This one is from Greg. Who would you have coached, and what strategy or advice would you have given them?
Oh, man, who would I coach? I'm a big fan of Frank. I'm a big Frank fan. He comes to play, you know. He wins when he has to, and I feel like from what I see on the show, he's a great guy. It seems like he's a great guy and doesn't really get too high or too low on himself. Kind of runs that middle. Is exactly where I wanted to play the game. So I would have liked to coach Frank. And as far as telling him how to play it, I think he's playing a great game. He's been up every single week that he hasn't been HOH. So it's I mean, I don't know how else I'd be able to fix that and help his game. I think he's playing a great game.
Karen writes, do you think Ian is ballsy enough to stand up to Dan, or has he got the game figured out that he knows when to stay quiet?
If Ian had the opportunity to get Dan out, I think he would. But I think Dan is sitting real pretty. He's got everybody, it seems like, you know, believing in him and trusting him and wanting to take him to the final two. I don't know why you'd want to take Dan to the final two after that move. You have to vote for him. I don't see why anyone wouldn't if he made it to the final two. But if there's one person in there that does have the balls, I guess, surprisingly enough, I would say Ian. I don't think anyone else but Frank would try to take Dan out.
It seems like, yeah, like you mentioned in the last segment, Ian is sort of coming out of his shell and speaking up and being vocal, and it's almost like they're kind of, it seems like they're respecting him. Because, I mean, if somebody else were to do that, all of a sudden it'd be, get him out of here, we don't want him here. But that isn't necessarily happening in Ian's case.
Exactly, but I think towards the end, people get really paranoid. Again, paranoid in general, but paranoid with like memorization questions and things like that. Because every season they tend to have those towards the end. So I think Ian, he's going to have to stay strong and keep playing that strong role because he's going to have a target on his back specifically for those reasons that it comes into play later on in the game. And I think Dan is doing a good job of kind of enlightening people to that fact that those competitions are coming up, and he's maybe more of a threat than Dan actually is. I'm talking about Ian. So Dan's doing a great job of just playing the house. You know, he's been there before. He's won this game before, and these other people haven't, and they don't really know what they're dealing with in Dan.
Right. Pam writes, who is Jordan rooting for?
Jordan's rooting for Frank as well. In the beginning, we kind of picked two people, like it was just off the cuff, and we didn't know who to pick just from their personal interviews. And we went with Tara and Frank from the beginning. And I kind of swayed towards Ian, but I'm back on Frank, and I think me and Jordan kind of agree on that one. We're both Frank fans.
Now, I know your favorite website this summer is CBS.com. See, you like what I did there, right? They're going to be very happy that I did that.
I do like that transition right into the plug.
So why is it your favorite website, Jeff?
Well, because every Friday I have a show on there. It's on CBS Connect, and I get to do all the evicted house guests. So it's been my favorite website all summer.
So, Jeff, always great talking with you. Thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, take care now.
Today's best music with Jeremy Bradley.